Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be comparing Jay Cutler from 2009 and Dorian Yates from 1993. Before I start this video, I want to tell you guys that I've created an Instagram account. So if you guys want to see more personal content featuring me in the content, of course, then go ahead and follow the account. I'll put it up on screen now. And also before the video starts, if you guys could take a quick moment to like and subscribe, it would be much appreciated. I am so close to 1,000 subscribers, and it would really mean a lot to me if you did. So without any further ado, let's get into this video comparison. Here's the front double bicep shot. Both men look very impressive, but both men also have their set of flaws. Jay Cutler has asymmetries in the biceps and in the quads, and that ruins his overall flow in my opinion. He does have a decent V-taper though, and he looks rather aesthetic in my opinion. Now, of course, Dorian Yates has his flaws. He has undersized biceps and triceps relative to Jay Cutler, but Dorian Yates is fighting back with those massive forearms, a tight midsection, very good lat flare, and impressive separation and definition in those quads. Not to mention, he has insane calves, and overall, his physique and flow is much more impressive to my eye. On paper, Jay Cutler should be winning this shot because in 2009 his biceps weren't all too bad and his quads were some of the best of all time. But in this specific picture, he is not showcasing his physique that well, and for that reason, even though Dorian Yates doesn't have the best set of arms, I think Dorian Yates will get the slight, very, very slight advantage in the front double. Here's the front lat spread, and this is a Dorian Yates pose all the way. I mean, look at those lats. Jay Cutler has a very impressive front lat spread, but he cannot fill out this pose like Dorian Yates. Nobody can, for that matter. I mean, there are very few people that even come close to the way that Dorian Yates looks in this shot. Dorian Yates has very impressive quads, his shoulders and chest are striated, and overall, he looks really aesthetic. Here's the thing, guys. Although Jay Cutler boasts an extremely impressive front lat spread with, very desirable characteristics like the separation in the chest and shoulders and arms, the striations in the quads, and the wide clavicle, he has a, rather large midsection, which takes away from his overall flow and, of course, the V-taper that he can create. Now, I'm not saying his midsection is distended by any means, as you can even see his abdominal muscles poking through there, but, overall, he does not look as good as Dorian Yates because of the midsection. And on top of that, the biggest thing as well is that his lats are not filling out the pose as well. He fills out this pose very well for Jay Cutler and against many other people. But, Dorian Yates is a different caliber of athlete. I think Jay Cutler understands that, and I think many of you guys understand that as well. So Dorian Yates will get a rather easy win in the front lat spread. Here's the side chest pose, and in this chest pose, take a look at Jay Cutler, guys. I've never really been a huge fan of Jay in the side chest, but, in 2009, it was a completely different story. He brought mass with condition, and he looked absolutely fantastic. Look at the separation in the bicep brachialis tricep area, the chest and shoulder striations. Everything is on point for Jay Cutler in the side chest pose. Moving on to Dorian Yates, I personally prefer the way that he strikes the shot. He looks very reminiscent of the 1970s and 80s, and that is such a good aesthetic for him to follow. Now, of course, he also has all that mass combined with him, and even though he is losing in the arm and shoulder size, he is still rather comparable in the chest size and the leg size. He is definitely winning in the midsection, and overall, I think he would be winning in the aesthetics department as well. Although Dorian Yates has some amazing presentation and he looks absolutely outstanding in the side chest pose from head to toe, I think Jay Cutler just has much more of a freak factor to him. He has a much better upper body and overall a much better lower body as well. Maybe not much better, but a slightly better, lower body, side leg, whatever you want to call it. I would say the side leg department for both men is a lot closer between them, but overall, Jay would come out with the win in the side chest pose. Here's the side tricep pose, and wow, wow, wow. Two of the best side tricep poses of all time, in my opinion. This is going to be extremely difficult to judge. Jay Cutler looks absolutely outstanding in the side tricep shot. His midsection is flawless, his tricep is also very good, his arm overall is impressive, and his shoulder is striated to a T. The chest is also very well developed, the side leg has good separation, and overall, this is a flawless pose for Jay Cutler. Dorian Yates might not have the most aesthetic midsection, but what he does have is that grainy, granite-like condition. His tricep is large and separated perfectly, his shoulder is striated to a T and might be better than Jay Cutler's. His midsection, although it is not aesthetic like I said, shows more detail in the serratus and oblique area. The side leg looks a lot better in my opinion as well, as there appears to be more grainy-like condition. He looks a lot drier as well in the side leg, and of course he wins the calves. So I would say that Dorian Yates wins in the lower body. Now, the upper body is definitely a close one. You might go with Jay Cutler as he is a lot more aesthetic, but Dorian Yates has the larger tricep and overall the grainier condition. I personally prefer Dorian Yates' overall package, so for that reason, I'm going to give him the point. Aw man, guys, can Jay Cutler even compete with Dorian Yates in the rear double bicep shot? I mean, Dorian Yates' traps appear to be twice as large as Jay's, and of course, Dorian Yates has the lower back that Jay Cutler just is completely missing. The lower body is a close one. I would say that Jay Cutler displays better hamstrings, and he might display better glutes, but Dorian Yates has better condition in those glutes. The quads look very good from behind for Jay Cutler as well, which might give him the edge in this shot. But I'm going to tell you that Dorian Yates, of course, is winning in this shot as his back is so much better. To give Jay Cutler some credit, his bicep peaks, tricep sweeps, and quad sweeps are really insane. He is definitely destroying Dorian Yates in those aspects, but come on. Dorian Yates is flatlining Jay Cutler in the back department, much more condition, a much larger back as well. Overall, Jay Cutler does not compete in the back here, and I'm going to give Dorian Yates the easy point in the rear double in terms of the back department. Here's the Christmas tree comparison, and take a look at Dorian Yates' condition, guys. Oh my god. Look at the rippling striations in those lats, the conditioned glutes and hamstrings. Everything looks so spot on. Although Jay doesn't look all too bad here, his atrophied lats definitely take away from his presentation and, it definitely ruins his overall flow. Dorian Yates would 100% win this shot, but we're not going to judge it. So let's move into the rear lat spread. Jay looks very impressive here, guys. His lower back doesn't look to be as much of a problem as it was in the other shots. His glutes and hamstrings are dialed in perfectly, and overall his back is so thick, dense, and wide. Dorian Yates' lower body isn't as good as it was in other shots, however, his back is so insane. Look at the definition, detail, and width that he presents. The traps are huge, the lower back is really defined, and look at those lats, they flare out tremendously. This picture definitely isn't doing his lower body justice, so let's take another look at this shot. Wow, guys, take a look at those hamstrings and glutes now. It's like they came to life. And the back, oh my goodness, take a look at the thickness, detail, and density on that thing as well. I think this surely is an easy win for Dorian Yates once again in the rear lat spread, but I definitely think it is a lot closer as Jay Cutler's lower back issues aren't as prominent as they were in the other shots. Here's the ab and thigh shot, and take a look at Jay Cutler's quad, guys. It is feathered and separated perfectly. The midsection is rather blocky, but his abdominal muscles are very impressive. He doesn't have the best V-taper, but overall, I would say that his ab and thigh shot is still world class. Dorian Yates carves a rather aesthetic upper body silhouette here, as he has bulbous flaring lats and a very small midsection, which give him the illusion of a crazy V-taper. His quads aren't as separated as they were in other front shots, and overall, his midsection isn't as aesthetic as Jay's. Now, Jay, of course, doesn't have the trimmest waistline, but he has separation for days, and especially in those quads, the feathering and separation is so on point. I think Jay Cutler looks absolutely phenomenal in this abs and thigh shot, and I'm going to give him the point for that reason. So yeah, Jay Cutler wins the abs and thigh. In the final pose of this comparison, the most muscular shot, Jay Cutler convincingly wins, as Dorian Yates looks a little bit out of his element. To give Dorian Yates some credit, the most muscular was not a mandatory shot in 1993, which definitely explains why he looks rather unnatural in this shot, as he probably wasn't practicing it all too much. Jay Cutler just looks so much more round and freaky in this shot. His delts are round. Look at those traps. They're so full. The quad sweep is insane. He just looks so much better and thicker. Dorian Yates, for what it's worth, has some really good separation in the arms and quads and has some insane calves, but he looks a lot less, freaky and mass monster-esque. So for that reason, Jay Cutler is going to get the shot. So guys, that about does it for this comparison. Just to summarize the data, I had Jay Cutler winning the side chest, the abs and thigh, and the most muscular, while I had Dorian Yates winning the front double, the front lat, the side tricep, the rear double, and the rear lat spread, which means that Dorian Yates won this comparison 5-3. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know down below if you guys would rearrange the winners of the poses. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, please remember to like and subscribe. I'm super close to 1K. It would really be much appreciated. And with that, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night.